Hi, last week I was working in a very interesting task. So we have a problem on the UI that it's not consistent across the platform. So if, for example, you have list items and list customers, and they don't have the same user experience, they don't have the same look and feeling. So what affect the look and feeling? When should we say that we have inconsistent experience? The inconsistency come from mainly two things. First, the properties for the UI elements you are using, and the second is architecture or the alignment or the layout, whatever you like to call it, the structure maybe of the page or the screen you are building. For example, if we have list items and then we have a button to create a new item, and this button has blue color, and then on the customer screen we have a button to create customer, but it is yellow. So now we have kind of a different look and feeling. And at the same time, if you have, for example, the create on the left on one screen and then it's on the right on another screen, then you will have again, maybe they have the same colors, same properties, but again you have different look and feeling because they are arranged in different way. Usually the properties is all about colors, the transparency, fonts, sizes, and so on. The structure is more about arranging on horizontal, vertical, beside each others or far from each other, and so on. So they are different, and this difference make user think it's like kind of a different page. People, they have a high standard nowadays, and this issue it become more of necessary. In old days, maybe you don't have those big platforms which have a great experience, and the user expectations it was not that high. Now the user expectation is high, and they want to see a nice software. They don't want a software which is only functioning, but they want to see a great user experience as well. So it raises the expectation. So how do we solve this inconsistency and we make a great UI? So the way I think it really work out in practical way is to create profiles, a design profiles. A design profile, it's more or less, you can say it's a folder have some files on it, but they have a specific category. Okay, it has a specific category. This folder has a category of designs. So when we talk about design categories, we have mainly four categories. Okay, which we put those four categories together to create the screen or the page or whatever you are building. What are those four profiles or four categories? By the way, in your project, maybe you use more profiles or maybe you remove one of those profiles. Obviously, it's according to the need, but the concept should be there that you have profiles, and those profiles have a certain category of your designs. They are collecting together, this collection come together, and then you pick from them to build your page or screen. So the four profiles which I think they make sense are the elements. Elements is more of collecting the basic or atomic UX element or item. So for example, we have an HTML, the input field, or we have a label, or we have a header. Those are the basic elements, the atomic. You cannot make less than that. This is the least you can do is you create an HTML element. So we collect those HTML element inside the element profile, and then we have varieties of those elements. We have varieties. You can have, for example, a primary button or a secondary button. So you have varieties of those elements. So you collect the elements, you have varieties of those elements, then you create a profile, a design profile for the elements. The next profile is a component. A component, it's again an element, but a bit complex element. How complex? It is, it's just to make the elements have more sense. For example, if you have input button, the input button when you click on it, you should take you to another page. Okay. So the input button by itself, maybe it has an icon, okay, so that it shows that the user, when you click on it, it will take him to Apple Store, for example. Okay. So both together, two elements together, the image plus the input or the button together, they will make a component. Okay, we call it, for example, button with image. So that's the whole idea of component. Component, it's again, we have a main element and we have supplementary elements which is serving this main element. That's how we create a component. We call this whole category components category, a design category which is called components. Okay. So what is the next profile? The next profile is a section. When we have a section, for example, a header section, photo section. What is a section? Section, again, it's a collection of elements, components, but they are arranged together on a certain way. They have a certain arrangement, a certain layout, a certain structure. Those are grouped together. Okay, so we have, for example, the header have a navigation bar, and then we have login, logout, two buttons, login and logout, and they are arranged together on a certain way, so they create a section. Okay, so we have another profile which have a sections. We create the header, footer, or sub menus and main menus and so on. It's not a must that you have this standard section, top, button, and so on. Maybe you have a section on a content, but they are repeatable. They are used in several areas. So we can create a section which have those repeatable content together in one group, and then we put it on our section profile. This is one other profile. The last profile is a template. A template is more of a section arranged together in a certain layout, again, or a structure. So we have different sections. For example, we have the header, the photo, and then we have the main content page, and then the all together create a template. So we can use this template in several pages. Okay, so when it comes to template, it's all about having different sections. They are arranged together in a certain layout. Okay, the layout look different. So in this profile, you will see, for example, a header, footer, content, or left menu, top menu, and then a content. You will find all those kind of templates together in this profile. So after you build those 4 profiles, you start to have the page itself. The page or a screen, it should have different designs from those profiles. For example, you can have you can pick from the elements, some of the elements, and put in your page. You can pick from the sections and put in your page. You can put components in your page. So you pick from those 4 profiles, and then you create the pages. You create several pages or screens, maybe if you are in the mobile, using those common profiles. Profiles have your common design. Okay, this is how you create a standard library or a design system. Or this is I think it's a successful way. I saw it on some of the projects, and it's really successful. It worked very well when we create those profiles, and each profile has its own unique category which you can pick from. Maybe you can add more profile. For example, you can add profile for images only, or profile for icons only, or profile for fonts. You can create as profile as your project need, and those profiles should be picked from. But the profiles I explain, it is the one which I think they make sense. The ones which they don't have a lot of that much deep details, and at the same time they are very efficient. You can reuse them in a very good way. Okay, it's not like we are creating font profile, then the font, it's only one very tiny unit I believe. It's better we create element and this element have different varieties. Again, it's up to you. It's up to your project. I'm just mentioning maybe the headline, the ideas, but every project have its own conditions again. So what tools do we use to build those profiles and the design system? The tool which I think which will work well on to create those profile is Figma. Figma, it's recently it is used in many projects. Maybe you can use other tools, but the tool which I saw it a lot and it's very simple to learn and it really creates a very cool designs is Figma. The other tool which we usually use, but on the implementation side, is Storybook. I think it's very nice tool again. Storybook, it's more or less a documentation for the design profiles again. But in implementation, like we use the code to build those profiles. The code itself, we don't use wireframes. Okay, which again it's a better way when you have software engineers. They are the one who's building the design, or they are the one to drive the design. Or you would like to have to move the design system from the wireframes to write the real source, the source code itself, and then you can reuse the source code in several areas. So this is where Storybook, I see it makes sense. I really like both tools. They are very nice. There are many other tools, but those are the ones which I use mostly, and they are helping a lot on making this or solving this inconsistency problem. I hope this video is useful. We will see you in the next video.